After many production delays and disruptions, we finally have the savior of WB and DC, the Batman, on the screen again in a totally new avatar, played by that guy Edward Cullen from Twilight. This guy went from being a vampire to now playing Batman. Life has come a full circle for this dude. After the uproar Robert Pattinson got after being cast as Batman, was he able to deliver anything special or fizz out under the immense pressure of being this iconic character? Watch and find out in this spoiler-free review. The Batman has one of the most sublime opening montages I have seen, not just in a Batman movie, not just in a DC movie, but probably in any comic book movie ever. It shows a true essence of Batman as a character. How he induces fear into the minds and hearts of criminals has never been shown like this ever. If there was any doubt in my mind, after the opening it was clear that this movie was going to be a noir, stylized thriller, and I was so ready for the ride. The movie takes no time in introducing us to the main villain, the Riddler, and the plot gets underway without any distractions from the get-go. This Batman has been operational for 2 years, so we don't see any origin stuff, which was a relief for me as I am tired of seeing Bruce's parents get shot again and again. This Batman is pretty much established in Gotham, but he is not fully developed into the all-supreme Caped Crusader yet, as we see him being outplayed and beaten many times in the story. There was this one scene where Batman has to jump off a building and you can sense a lot of hesitation in him. And seeing Batman that vulnerable was so refreshing. This is a very fresh, grounded, real take on Batman. Batman has always been a comparatively grounded superhero, but this Batman is a real-world detective with a few advanced gadgets. In fact, never in the movie you feel like you are watching a superhero movie. It mostly feels like a noir crime thriller. Only superhero element in the movie is probably the bat suit. Take that out and it's just a crime movie. And that is one of its great strengths. This is a Batman movie we needed. Just him being the world's greatest detective, as Batman should be. All the supporting characters are great. I mean great. I thought Zoe Kravitz was amazing as Selina Kyle, probably my favorite Catwoman of all time. She poured her heart into the character and gave a stunning sensual portrayal. It's funny as I didn't really love how Selina's arc fit in the overall story, but she herself took my breath away. Jeffrey Wright was a great Commissioner Gordon, and I was surprised by the amount of screen time he got in the movie. Most of the time it was Gordon and Batman teaming up as a detective duo, and it was a dynamic not really explored to this extent in any other Batman movie before. This was again a very refreshing thing in the movie, Batman working well with others. Be it Gordon, Catwoman, or a random Gotham cop. I thought it was cool to not have Batman be this mythological, mysterious figure and have him be a more believable, a bit weirdly dressed private eye who doesn't mind working with others. Andy Serkis's Alfred was nice but wasn't as much in the movie as I would have liked. Colin Farrell was incredible as the Penguin and gave a very animated, larger-than-life performance, which was very apt for the role. Although I'm still not able to get why Reeves chose him and covered him in unrecognizable makeup instead of just picking a good actor who looked like the character. Directors are weird. I was not aware that John Turturro was in the movie playing Carmine Falcone, and he totally owned that role. Talking about the main villain, Paul Dano's Riddler was an incredible antagonist for this detective story. There is a realistic, believable motivation behind the murdering psychopath that is the Riddler. I am bummed out that we didn't get to see Paul Dano without a mask more, but still his performance behind the mask was memorable. The Riddler is shown always a step ahead of the Batman, and that makes him a very worthy adversary for him. Some people are making comparisons of Riddler and Dark Knight's Joker. I think Joker was overall a better villain, but I also know that the two are very different kind of villains. Joker was very visible, very in your face, whereas Riddler is mostly in the shadows plotting in the background. Now let's come to the main topic of focus, Pattinson. Has he been able to prove his haters wrong? Oh yes, he has. Robert Pattinson has knocked it out of the park for me, especially when it comes to being the Batman. As Bruce Wayne 2, he was pretty great, but I loved his brooding, damaged, painfully silent take on the Caped Crusader. He had surprisingly low amount of dialogue, most of the acting done is through the eyes and the expression, and Pattinson was able to nail it on its head. I loved this version of Batman and I want to see him develop in sequels and more sequels and more sequels. No matter what opinion you have of him from his twilight days, Robert Pattinson has proved again and again how good of an actor he is, and here he has just solidified that fact again. Matt Reeves has given a very realistic yet enthralling, grim but gripping, chilling but very uber cool take on the Batman, and he has been successful for most parts. The movie looks breathtaking, and the Gotham created here is straight out of the Batman animated series and the Batman comics. Cinematography by Craig Fraser complements Reeves' vision for the story in a mind-blowing manner. It's a superb looking movie that demands to be seen on the biggest screens. The action is great. You can feel every punch thrown by the Batman. The car chase sequence between the Penguin and the Batman seen in the trailers is masterfully shot and executed. One of the best car chase scenes you'll ever see. Batman always gets great themes, and this time around too it's no different. Michael Giacchino has given a superb Batman theme that will be remembered for long. Some people are finding the movie to be very serious, but I don't think that was the case. There was a lot of subtle humor here and there. Of course, if you're expecting MCU level laughs, then you are probably looking in the wrong place. But the tone of the movie was just right for me and was just right for the world Matt Reeves created. The plot of the movie is as tight and as witty as you expected. Reeves doesn't hand out the details on a platter, and you need to keep your minds attentive to get everything that's going on. The story explores Gotham's secrets and corruption through the eyes of the Batman and through the murderous acts of the Riddler. It's a gritty, captivating, and unexpectedly haunting ride. The length of the movie was a bit much for me. I think twice I thought the movie has reached its conclusion, but it kept going. I think a good 20 minutes could have been cut from the movie without changing much of the story. Also, I wasn't a big fan of the third act of the movie. I thought the first half was very strong and it hyped up the anticipation for the upcoming story. But second half pales a bit comparatively, and the final act isn't as exciting as the movie builds it up to be. Overall, the Batman is 100% a cinematic win for Matt Reeves and DC. It proves that no matter how many times this character comes on screen, given a good treatment and appropriate amount of love, Batman will always be an iconic character that will keep bringing crowds into theaters to watch his stories. Pattinson has proven to be a masterful casting, and I can't wait to see more of his Batman. I see the potential of this guy being the greatest Batman of all time. We'll wait and watch for that. For now, I'm very pleased with him. The Batman will not be a movie loved by everyone. People who like stylized cinema will consider this a truly special, flawless film. Casual moviegoers who are accustomed to comic book movies from MCU will probably not appreciate it that much. And I totally get both point of views very clearly, being a cinema lover and an MCU superfan. But I loved the Batman. I've seen it twice and I appreciated it even more the second time around, and I'm looking forward to seeing it many more times in the future. I'm going to give the Batman a 5 out of 6. So guys, that was the review of the Batman. Let me know in the comments below how you liked the movie. If you liked the video, do strike that like, and please don't forget to subscribe. Be safe. I will see you in the next one. Till then, bye bye.